Today on the table, we have an Astra Model 400. So if you remember about 2 weeks ago, you can go back and you can watch the video of the Astra Model 600. The 600 was made from this Model 400. It was designed from this Model 400. It's basically the exact same gun with a little bit lighter spring, chambered in 9mm Luger. This is 9mm Largo, which is more of a Spanish ammunition. And we'll go over that, why they had to make that change, just because of how tough it was to find outside of Spain. So they made this pistol from 1921 to 1950. It was designed in 1920, and they made about 106,000 of the Model 400. Like I said, it's made in Spain. It was used for the Spanish Civil War. It did see a little bit of service in early World War II, and then there were some other wars, like the Chilean Navy used it as well. And actually even the Spanish Navy used it a little bit as well too. But it's a heavy gun compared to many of the pistols, back in its time. Like there was a Tokarev, the T3 or the TT33. I actually would like to get one of those. But this is actually in very similar weight to a 1911, and it's about the same length as well. It's heavy. I mean, it does feel like a heavier pistol, but it has a really heavy slide and a very heavy spring, and that was actually the negative for it, is because people would complain that it was very difficult to cock and draw back to load around. It was very reliable, and it's extremely accurate even as a target pistol. But it's the nice thing is that obviously it has an internal hammer on it, but it does have the standard blowback action on it. But it's unaided by any breech locking devices. So again, that makes it very reliable. You could shoot at the mud, all that good stuff. But we'll do a quick safety check on it. You can see I guess, and I'm fairly strong, but it is a little bit, even as old as it is, and the original spring is still in it, it's still a heavy draw to pull back. But you can see here that it is not loaded right there. And then we'll get the magazine out. Let me see if I can do it in one take. There we go. So here's the magazine here. Original 9mm Largo magazine for it. You can see that there. It's all solid metal. Now, in order for you to bring the slide back, it obviously has to be no magazine in there. So there we go, just like that. And then we'll put the mag back in, and we can dry fire it just like that. But again, it's all original wood grips on it. You can see that it has its proof marks, and then the tonnage marks from when they tested the barrel. And then this is the serial number matching one, so the serial number on the slide and the frame match, which is what I was looking for. And I wanted one again that was all original. I didn't mind the wear on the grips as well, so you can see that there. So like I said, what happened was that obviously this was used so much back in Spain. But then outside of Spain, it was very difficult for them to find 9mm Largo ammunition. So when Germany reached out to them to say, hey, we'd like you to design us a pistol that we can use for World War II, they wanted a new pistol made that was chambered in 9mm Luger, because that was a lot more common. And so what they did was basically they just took this pistol and rechambered it in the 9mm Luger. And that's how you get the Model 600, which is what we reviewed before. This one did come in a few different experimental cartridges, so you could get it in 32 ACP, 30 Luger, and then there's actually a 7.63 Mauser. So they kind of experimented with different calibers for it, but again, the Largo kind of was the one that won out, and it was obviously in short supply outside of Spain. So eventually they made it, like I said, in the 9mm Luger. Now there are some other ones where you can get there's an Astra 300 where you can get it in a 32 and a 380, which is kind of fun. Could try to find one of those, but those are pretty tough to find. But yeah, I mean, it's a super accurate pistol. A lot of experts, I mean, I don't know if I consider myself an expert, I'm just a fun collector, but it's very accurate to shoot. And it's just a kind of a quirky thing to have for a collection. And like I said, we will do in the future, here in the next week or so, I will make a video where we will compare it with its 600, and we'll put them side by side. Heck, we'll even see if the magazines fit inside of each other, and what the differences in lengths, if there are any. and we'll just do a quick review of each of those. But if you have one of these, I'd be, definitely let me know in the comments, and if you've ever shot one. I will have to try to find some 9mm Largo ammo for it. You can see, and you can also see the Astra stamp right here on the top, right there. So, but yeah, it's a very, very nice example of a Astra Model 400. But if you have any questions, throw them in the comments. Thanks again.